Hi guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel. Hope you guys are doing well. So we knew that the immigration update is coming up with effect from 22nd July, and now all these are official. So if you look at the UK government website, we can see all the updated information regarding the immigration rules on the website. So we knew that the changes were coming up with effect from 22nd July with the previous documents which were published by the UK government, and we have done videos based on those documents as well. But I wanted to do this video by focusing specifically on the UK government website because now the information is officially published on the UK government website. So I'll be focusing on the key changes related to work visas specifically through this video. However, you can do your own research by referring to all the information that have been published on the UK government website regarding the immigration rules. So for that, the link for this page in the UK government website is given in the description box as well. So you can easily use that link to do your own research. So without further delay, let's see what are the updates or what are the information that have been updated in the website. So since the beginning of this month, we knew that the salary threshold for skilled worker visa is going to increase to 41,700 per annum, and now that has been officially published on the page as well. So I'm going to look into all the key aspects related to these changes, and this says skilled worker visa in the UK government website, and I'm going to start with the your job section because that is important. So it clearly says you must meet all the following requirements to be eligible for the skilled worker visa. So the first 2 points mentioned here are the same information or the same criteria which we had previously as well, but the third criteria is different because it says you will be paid at least the minimum salary rate for the type of work you will be doing, and now the minimum salary threshold has been increased. The minimum salary for the type of work you will be doing is whichever is the highest of 41,700 per year or the going rate for the type of work you will be doing. So you have to check the going rate table to confirm the going rate for your occupation, and then you have to compare that going rate with this 41,700, and then it should be the higher out of those two if you are planning to go for the skilled worker visa. Then it says the minimum salary may be lower if you are extending your skilled worker visa or updating it because you have a new job or employer. So this clearly says that if you are extending your existing skilled worker visa, you will be eligible to go with the lower rate because you are not new to the skilled worker visa, you will be extending your existing visa. So in that case, you can use the previous salary threshold. Now let's see how you can check if your job is eligible. I know that most of you are trying to find whether your occupation is eligible for skilled worker visa. So you can use these steps on this page to find out whether your occupation is eligible for skilled worker visa. So it says before you can find out if your job is eligible, you need to know its 4-digit occupation code. So you have to find out the 4-digit occupation code for your job. So if you already have a job offer, ask your employer for your occupation code. So if you have the offer, you can do that. However, if you don't have the job offer, still you can find your occupation code. So you can search for your job in the CASCOT occupation coding tool. So the link for that is here in this page. You can simply click on this link, which is CASCOT occupation coding tool. So you will be taken into that page, which is CASCOT occupation coding tool, and you can type the job title in this box. So say for an example, I'm going to find the job code for teaching jobs. So I can type as teacher and then click on code. It will give you the jobs related to teaching. So I have primary education teaching professionals, secondary education teaching professionals, and even further education teaching professionals. For example, I'm going to take primary education teaching professionals, occupation code 2314. So in the same way, you can find your occupation code by typing the related job in the text box. So for primary education teaching, it is 2314. Now I know the occupation code. This is just an example for you to understand. So find the code from here and then go back to the previous page. Then it says not every job title is included. If you cannot find your exact job title, try searching for similar jobs. So you might not be able to find the same job, but you can try searching for similar jobs with the same job description. Then check if an occupation code is eligible for this visa. Once you have found your occupation code, the next thing that you should find out is whether the occupation code is eligible for the visa. Then when you know your occupation code, view the table of eligible jobs to see if it is included. Then you can click on this table of eligible jobs to find out whether that occupation code is eligible. So it says the table is very large, therefore it is sorted in order of occupation code with the smallest numbers at the top. That's why you need to find the occupation code first. Therefore you can easily find that code if it is available in the table. Then you may be able to use your web browser to search for your code on the page as well. So let's see table of eligible jobs by clicking on this link, view the table of eligible jobs. So then you can see that last updated date of this table is 22nd July 2025, which means the most recent list. So you can click on this HTML and it will take you to skilled worker visa eligible occupations and codes. And when you scroll down on the page, you will see the occupation code, job type, related titles, and whether that occupation code is eligible for skilled worker as higher skilled, medium skilled, or ineligible. So this is a new thing that has been updated on the page. Now they categorize the occupations as higher skilled or medium skilled, and also they consider some of the occupations as ineligible for the visa as well. So let's look at the same occupation code which we searched through the CASCOT occupation coding tool, which is 2314. So you can see that this starts with 11 codes and it goes down. So you have to scroll down to find this code, which is 2314. So when you scroll down on the page, you will see primary education teaching professionals as 2314. Then it says this is categorized as higher skilled. So according to this, they categorize this 2314 code as higher skilled occupation. Now let's see an example of medium skilled occupation as well. Say for an example, if you look at 1243, which is managers in logistics, you can see that has been categorized as medium skilled. So later we are going to discuss what is the difference between medium skilled and higher skilled as well. So if you look at 3431 occupation code, that is sports players, and it says ineligible. So this occupation code 3431 is not eligible for this visa. In this way, you can find out whether your occupation code is in higher skill, medium skilled, or ineligible for the visa. So after finding that, you can go back to the previous page. So it says if your occupation code is listed as higher skill job, you can apply for this visa. So if your job is categorized as higher skilled, you can apply for skilled worker visa and you can bring your dependents as well. However, if your occupation code is listed as medium skilled, then you can only apply for this visa if your job occupation code is on either of the immigration salary list or the temporary shortage list. So if it is in the medium skilled category, then you have to check these two lists, which are immigration salary list and the temporary shortage list. Say for an example, 1243 was in the medium skilled category. So then if you are planning to apply for the visa using that code, you have to then check whether that occupation code is available in one of these two lists. So we'll check the temporary shortage list, and again you can see that this was published on 22nd July, so which is a new list temporary shortage list, you can open the HTML and then it gives you the occupation codes which are available under the temporary shortage list. So the first code is 1243, which we took as the example, managers in logistics. So you can see that it is available in the temporary shortage list, and the next two columns have the standard rate and the lower rate, which I'm going to discuss later on. So in this way you can find out whether your occupation code is in the temporary shortage list or immigration salary list if it is categorized as medium skilled. However, if it is categorized as higher skill, that means you can go for the skilled worker visa. Okay, then we are going to look at the salary requirements. Then it says you will usually need to be paid the standard salary rate of at least 41,700 per year, or the going rate for your job, whichever is higher. So as we discussed previously, you have to check the going rate for your occupation and compare it with 41,700, and you have to go with the higher of 41,700 and the going rate. So an example is here, if your salary is 42,000 per year, but the annual going rate for the job you will be doing is 45,000 per annum. Do you think that you are eligible for this with 42,000? No, in this case you won't be eligible with 42,000 even though it is higher than 41,700, because for your occupation the going rate is 45,000. Therefore you do not meet the usual salary requirements for this visa. If you want to get the visa, in this case you have to have an annual salary of 45,000. Then it says each occupation code has its own annual going rate. For this, you can check the going rate for your job in the going rates table. So by clicking this going rates table link, you will be able to check the going rate for your occupation. So when you go on this, you will see that this is also updated on 22nd July, and you can click on the HTML and it will open you the skilled worker visa going rates for eligible occupation codes. So when you scroll down on the page, you will see the table with the going rates. So here you will be able to see two going rates, which are standard going rate and the lower going rate. So you have to understand the difference between these two rates and you have to find out which rate is applicable for you. So let's see what is meant by standard going rate. So it says if you qualify for the standard rate because you got your first certificate after 4th April 2024, then read the standard rate column. So you will be eligible for the lower rate if you are applying for a health and care worker visa in certain occupations, or you got your certificate of sponsorship for your first skilled worker visa before 4th April 2024 and have continually held one or more skilled worker visas since then. So you can refer the lower going rate table if you got your certificate of sponsorship before 4th April 2024. But if you are planning to get it now, you have to look at the standard going rate column in this table. So for example, we'll look at the same previous example we discussed previously, which is for the occupation code 1243, managers in logistics, and you can see that standard going rate is 44,900 per annum. If you are planning to get it now, your salary should be 44,900, not 41,700 in this case, because if you compare this 44,900 going rate with the minimum salary threshold of 41,700, and you have to choose the higher out of these two, which is 44,900. So in this way you can find your occupation code in this going rate table and find out whichever is higher out of the going rate and the 41,700. So that is how you are going to find out the applicable salary for your occupation. And then it says if you work in healthcare or education, there are different salary rules in some healthcare or education jobs. You can check it by clicking on this link. However, I'll be doing a separate video focusing on these healthcare or education jobs which are eligible for skilled worker visa with a lower salary than 41,700. And also there are circumstances where you can be paid less. So if you do not meet the usual salary requirements and you do not work in healthcare or education, you might still be eligible if your salary will be at least 33,400 per year. We know that previously this salary discount was 30,960 and now it has gone up to 33,400. However, the salary discount is still available depending on your circumstances. There are some circumstances which allow you to go for the skilled worker visa for specific time limit as well, for a salary of at least 33,400. It clearly says that you may be able to meet lower salary requirements if you are extending your skilled worker visa or updating your skilled worker visa. For example, if you have a new job or employer, that means if you are extending your skilled worker visa, you don't need to worry about these new changes. So this is about the main update related to the skilled worker visa, and the UK government has now updated the new salary list for temporary shortage list and immigration salary list as well. You can have a look on those by referring to the links that I showed you. So I hope this video was helpful for you in understanding the changes which are effective now from 22nd July. So thank you for watching the video, guys. See you soon with a new video.